And the next film we're going to talk about is also a little bit kind of, is it a zombie film? Is it not a zombie film? And that is a film called Zombie Holocaust.
Mhm.
Also goes by the amazing alternative title of Dr. Butcher MD, which is great. Now, I'll come back to that in a sec. It is also known as Zombie Free in places, which, given what people know about the film, is quite, will make sense. Now, the Dr. Butcher MD thing, whereas with a lot of these films, they just have alternative titles for no reason, it's the same film. Dr. Butcher MD is a different cut from Zombie Holocaust. So Dr. Butcher MD is the name it was given in America, and it has a few minutes cut out, but it's not gore, it's exposition. So it might actually be a good thing for the film. It might help the pacing somewhat. And this also came out in 1980 and is directed by Marino Girolami, although in the version that we watched, he is credited as Frank Martin.
Okay.
And Ria, what's the synopsis?
Well, I mean, the old title, the MD one is quite apt, really, because there is a mad doctor in it, right? So, I have the synopsis. So members of an expedition in the East Indies encounter not only the cannibals they were looking for, but also an evil scientist and his zombie army. I mean, we use the term zombie loosely. Again, it does seem a little bit like maybe Asda smart price cannibals to me. But for those American listeners, I mean Walmart, not Asda, but we call it Asda here, whatever. Own label cannibals, cheap versions, cheap knockoffs.
So this is an interesting one because if you don't know anything about the film, you haven't seen it, you go, Zombie Holocaust. So it's zombie flesh eaters and cannibal holocaust mixed together in one film. So first of all, what are your thoughts on the film having cannibals and zombies in it? 2 for the price of 1.
I'm not sure it really worked. It did feel a little bit like it had been kind of plonked in there after they'd written the original script. It's like almost it was going to be a cannibal movie and then they changed it. That's what it felt like to me.
Yeah, I get that. It does feel kind of like 2 different films where, they've been kind of spliced together,
Yeah, and there's some funky music and the sort of quote unquote zombies when they appear. It is a little bit surprising. They sort of got cakey grey face, cake face. So cake face zombies, interesting.
Yeah, it's a bit of a funny one because it has some cliches of cannibal films. So, for example, you have a character who is an anthropologist and you have a guide. And you've got sort of cannibals who are doing the whole gut munching thing, but there's no animal cruelty. So that is kind of one good thing I'd say about this in terms of, it's a cannibal film, but it doesn't have all the cliches of a cannibal film.
Yeah, I mean, it definitely got the sort of obligatory nudity, like the sort of hot blonde voyeuristic, like getting changed scene, which is usually completely unnecessary.
It's very unnecessary.
They've got it.
I laughed because I'm like, what is the point of this?
What is the point of this? Is to just get the ratings up and show the nudity. I think it's like, for what the bit for the boys, but I mean, 10 out of 10 for the decor in the background when she was getting changed.
Oh yeah, it's hilarious.
She did have a great wardrobe as well, so I was kind of loving that the lampshade matched the wallpaper perfectly, like 10 out of 10 for that. It was like very cool, like green and pink 70s decor, so I was like appreciating that and not really watching the nudity because it's like, oh, here we go again.
Yeah, that one scene, yes, it does feature someone basically taking all their clothes off except their underwear. But whoever styled that room, they did a great job because, the wallpaper, if it was wallpaper, and the chair matched perfectly. And there was other furniture that matched the carpet as well. It was styled really well. So
also, this film was great because, again, the music was really cheesy again. And every time something surprising happened, it went wow, 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 like that or something similar to that noise. It was I can't explain it. It was like a synthesizer noise.
Yeah. It's pretty funny. It's not as good as the music in the last film, I'll say that.
Yeah, still decent though. Made me laugh a lot, this movie.
Yeah, there are... I would say Nightmare City kind of made me laugh more because there's more like outrageous stuff. But yeah, there's a few things that kind of don't really make a lot of sense in this film that you can kind of laugh at just for like absurdity reasons.
Oh, yeah.
So throughout the film, this cannibal tribe, they have a symbol that they have tattooed on people.
The keto tribe.
Yeah, it just looks like an envelope that's been turned on its side.
Yeah.
It just looks bizarre. It looks like sort of symbol you'd get if you received an email on an app.
You've got mail.
Yeah, it just looked bizarre, kind of like that. My favourite part of the film, by far, this is the best thing. Maybe it was the best thing in both films, actually, is... So, just to give context, so the start of this film is in New York, because of course it is.
Of course. Italians love to shoot a film in New York.
They love it. This is a perfect example of that. So even though most of the film doesn't even take place in New York, it'll start in New York. So the first 20 minutes will be there. And you've got someone cutting off bits of people's dead bodies, basically.
Yeah. So I couldn't even count this in the death count because most of them are dead already at the beginning. It's like, oh, these people are already dead.
Yeah. So at the start, you've got someone cutting off someone's hand with a knife, which doesn't make sense. Would take literally maybe half an hour, if not longer, to do this. It's ridiculous. Or like removing someone's heart. Who apparently don't have a breastplate. They literally, you can just open it and just take it out.
Yeah.
Which is hilarious. They find out the person who does this very quickly. Yeah. And this person, their reaction to being caught is to jump out the window.
Yeah.
Literally jump through a glass window and fall feet many, many, many stories to the floor. Again, another dummy.
And then he's still conscious and he speaks. And it's like, what? And then I was like, oh, shall I put him on the death count? Oh, wait, no, he's still alive. Oh, no, wait, now I think he's dead. So he just like stayed alive just to say one line, I think.
Yeah, which is
That was brilliant.
amazing.
There was also like a really funny quote that I saw sort of near the beginning of the movie where she's in a cab and she's going to a restaurant and it's with like the professor guy, like the head guy. And he's like, oh, where are you going for lunch? And he says, oh, I thought you were into macrobiotics and vegetarian foods. And they pull up outside this place and you think it's going to be something really grand or maybe like steak restaurant or something. And it's La Crepe restaurant. It's a creperie. And creperie is not even spelt right. It's spelt creperie. So I don't know if that restaurant was real and existing or whether they just put the sign up. But she's like, oh, well, I am sometimes into macrobiotics and vegetarian foods, but I just thought I'd spoil myself today. So she's spoiling herself with a crepe. Okay.
Crepe, clearly,
all right then. Yeah. Go on with your bad self.
So that character is Laurie Ridgway, who's played by Alexandra Deli-Colli, who is most well known for being in New York Ripper by Lucio Fulci, which actually came out a couple of years after this.
Nice.
And she is essentially there just because she's attractive and she gets naked a couple of times in the film. She's just, yeah, her character is really very badly served by this film because if you look at this character on paper, she has done a degree not only in medicine, but also in anthropology. So she's done 2 degrees.
So she's a really smart lady.
Yeah.
And she spends most of the film getting undressed. So.
Basically. And like when they actually do, so the characters basically, there's 4 characters. They go into this island, which presumably is in the Caribbean, but it's not really mega clear where it's meant to be. You'd think, like, as an anthropologist, you'd think she would be the one taking the lead, kind of explaining, oh, this is what this is, and, like, she'd be the one kind of giving exposition. But once they get to the island, she doesn't really do anything.
She doesn't really do a lot. And especially when there's this part where they get to the island and she's like, oh, it brings back memories. I used to live here as a child. It's like, what? What a coincidence. Random. And the other bit of like backstory is like when they go to her apartment, something gets stolen from the wall and it's like a ceremonial knife for human sacrifice, which she makes sure she tells them. It's like, oh, Jesus Christ, why don't you just make that point more obvious? And it's like, oh, that's your decor for your apartment. It's like these days people have the crappy live, love, laugh sign, but back then in the 70s, she clearly was opting for a ceremonial human sacrifice dagger.
She's a colonizer, clearly. She's like stolen these artifacts from these poor people and like got them like as decoration on the walls of her apartment.
Also, like the character names it's when George and Susan get introduced. It was really making me laugh because it's such a British names. It's like Rod, Jane and Freddie, George and Susan. Mm-hmm. Who else is going to be there? Zippy? I mean, I don't know.
I would love Zippy to turn up. Oh, hello. We're going to an island, are we? That'd be great. Susan was my favourite character in the whole film. She had some cracking lines. And she reminded me of a young Diane Keaton as well, which is not a bad thing at all. But yeah, her character is she's not really in the film enough, but when she talked, it was hilarious.
Yeah. Did they, when they get to the island, did they lie about who she was? Because they introduced her as Kelly and they said she's keeping a diary of the expedition. But she's a journalist and she's supposed to be reporting.
Her surname is Kelly. So she's Susan Kelly is her name.
I see.
Yeah.
So they didn't say she was a journalist. They said she's keeping a diary. It's
so weird. It's an interesting thing you brought up there, actually, because the person here is ostensibly, I think, at the start of the film is presented as the main character, who is Laurie. But then after about 20 minutes, she then takes back seat. And the main character is then Ian McCulloch's character, who is Dr. Peter Chandler, who is a doctor, but he doesn't do any doctorly stuff. It's not really clear what he even does and why he's so interested in this, because he's not an anthropologist.
Yeah.
He's not a journalist.
Yeah.
And he's not a policeman. So is he just someone who works at the hospital?
I don't know. I thought he was like
so bizarre
professor or something, but he just seems to be the man in charge, doesn't he? He's like the head guy.
And
it's weird.
He spends most of the film just looking annoyed.
Yeah.
He just doesn't really have any character at all. He just looks miserable the whole time.
Yeah. Yeah, it was weird. I didn't understand who he was either. But that bit with the sort of maggoty head in the bed with the real maggots, that was pretty cool. I was like quite... decent effect.
Yeah, so the one good thing I would say is a major plus of the film, and also if you're going to watch it, I think the reason to watch it is the gore effects. I would say the gore effects are actually really good for a movie of what is probably not a huge budget. Yeah. There's some really gnarly kind of gore scenes and deaths in this.
Yeah.
The best death scene by far takes place on the beach.
Oh, that bit was good.
I'll let you describe that.
Oh, well, they're starting up the boat and the motor's been overheating, and I think there's two motors, and one of them he managed to detach in his hand. So the motor's whizzing round and he basically pushes it into the sort of zombie, quote unquote, head. And so basically he motorboated the zombie, which I thought was awesome. But yeah, that was you just want to applaud that bit. It was actually fantastic.
The best bit by far. Because there's a lot of gore in this film, and the gore generally looks really good. It's very effective. And it looks awesome, I would say.
Yeah, there's lots of gut munching. It is effective. There's some sort of close-ups of the savages. It's sort of the savages versus these cakey face zombie types.
Yeah.
Which are quite demonic. And actually, when they first walk on and the savages run the other way, it's quite eerie. It is quite scary, sort of the groaning and the...
Although that noise is hilarious because it's just...
Yeah.
Loads of reverb on it. And literally that's all they did for about a minute. It was just... So funny.
The savages always the savages just run off, and there's some quite funny quotes. Like you said, Susan does some good ones. So she says at one point, "I didn't come here for a romp in the bushes."
I got that one written down.
That's so funny. And there's one bit where I think it's George. He says, about the savages. He's like, they might just want to talk. It's well, they don't look like they want to talk.
I love quotes like that. It's like the quote from the last film as well, where it's people are just so oblivious.
Yeah.
That it's absurd. I love it.
And there's one bit where they find the natives are one of them's murdered. And I think George goes, bury your friend and be quick about it. It's just prizes for empathy here. Jesus Christ, let them mourn.
Yeah. So one of the interesting things about this film, so I mentioned Ian McCulloch is in this film. He's obviously best known for being in Zombie Flesh Eaters.
Yeah.
And he's in Contamination as well. I think his role in Contamination is quite underrated because he has some amazing lines in that film.
Yeah.
So he wasn't in that many films. He's also in this. This was filmed at the same time as Zombie Flesh Eaters. So if you remember when they arrive at the island, they skip all the flying bits. Like they're in New York and then suddenly they're driving on this island.
Yeah.
It looks like the same island as the one from Zombie Flesh Eaters.
It does, yeah, it does.
So which suggests it was the same one.
Yeah.
And he's not the only person who is also in Zombie Flesh Eaters. So the guide, who's Mulatto, he's played by an actor who's only known as Dakar.
Yeah.
But he is in Zombie Flesh Eaters as well. He's the guy who's there just to give the kind of speech about, when hell is full and the dead will come back to life and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, he's pretty cool, to be honest. And like his on-screen character has one name, no surname, and so does his actor name, in real life. So pretty cool. He must be quite iconic. He's giving iconic vibes.
Oh, yeah. He's, again, I think he's used more in this film, I would say. Like he's given more kind of stuff to do.
Yeah.
You mentioned, like, right at the start, the zombies, they're not the living dead, essentially. I mean, they kind of are, but they're not really. These are more, again, tied into, like, sort of, it's not voodoo, but it's the same kind of vibe.
Yeah, it does give, like, a voodoo, sort of possessed voodoo vibe, like demonic. But they're shuffling. If they are a zombie, they're shuffling slow zombies, so.
Yeah, because the idea, I believe, is that the mad scientist, there's always a mad scientist in one of these types of films. It's the same in Zombie Flesh Eaters as well, in fairness. But like, you've got a mad scientist, he's transferring the brain of a living person into a cadaver to create a living dead person, as you do, who will then serve him, basically, as his minions, although they don't turn other people into zombies, so it's not really a zombie in that way.
Yeah, they're sort of, it really tickled me that the voodoo sort of zombies that were shuffling in had sandals on.
You've got to protect your feet, it's not comfortable.
Wandering around the jungle with like, bare feet when you're a possessed voodoo demon.
Yeah.
The other gory bits, that bit where George had his eyes poked in.
Oh yeah, that was cool.
Yeah, that was pretty cool.
Yeah.
And the other bit where sort of, like you were saying, that last sort of third of the film where it's like the mad doctor, scientist, and he sort of scalps people to like, that bit's quite scary. Like the zombie Susan, when she turns to a zombie, that was quite eerie as well.
Yeah, because it didn't look like she had like a skull cap on or anything. It looked like she'd actually had her head shaved.
Yeah.
For like that bit. It looked
and
pretty
it was like
realistic.
really bloody, and then they sort of pull off the top layer, which probably a wig, but it does look quite realistic. But then like Laurie, so that's the one that's on the kind of rock slab.
Yes.
So she gets put on that slab and then they do their ceremony and she's completely naked and it's quite worrying. It's like, what the fuck are they going to do? And then at the end, she's just totally fine.
Yeah, so this is another thing that doesn't, I don't know, it just kind of feels like the plot's kind of being made up as it goes along. Like, it kind of felt like, okay, we've got a general story where you've got a bunch of people, they need to go to this island, there's a mad doctor, he's creating zombies, if you want to call them that, and there are cannibals as well. And then it's like, okay, we need to think of other things to do as well. It's like, with Nightmare City, you can kind of say, okay, well, you've got a lot of subplots going on. Whether they really added a lot to the film, you could argue, but they were at least there. It kind of felt like there's a lot of padding in this film. Like, and that scene, as cool as it is, first of all, it's a bit of a rip-off of a similar scene from Mountain of the Cannibal God.
Yeah.
It's just taken from that. You've got a woman, she's naked, she's covered in, like, body paint, and then they're going to do something to her.
Mm-hmm.
And then, like, yeah, you said, like, they put her on this rock, and there's an indent of, like, a woman's body, like, on the rock, and her body must fit this perfectly, and it starts moving.
Yeah.
And then they just start kind of like, oh, I guess you must be the chosen one.
Yeah.
And then they just decide to kind of follow her. And that's when they save. Like, that's why they turn against the doctor at the end.
Oh,
Seems very out of place. They don't really explain it very well. It's only because I've watched this twice, because a lot of this film doesn't really make a lot of sense. You kind of need to sit down and go, okay, so why is this guy kind of cutting out people's hearts in New York? Like, why are they even doing that in the first place?
Didn't she have one in her fridge at the beginning?
Yeah, that's another thing as well.
Weird.
It's like, is that heart in her fridge? Because
Yeah.
I thought what was going to happen is it was going to turn out that she's actually like some spy
Yeah,
who's like
she's,
secretly
like, part
working
of
for
it.
this tribe and who's, doing all the,
Yeah.
spoiler for Night School, but like there is a similar plot device in that where it's like, oh, it's actually someone doing like a covert operation. But no, it's not
I
that
thought
at all.
that's what it was going to be, and it had the typical bow wow wow on it. It's like,
noise.
well, the heart's there, the bow wow noise is there.
And the bow wows there.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, I did wonder why I just thought the savages thought, well, we've had enough of this psycho scientist, and they decided to turn. But now I realise that her fitting into that slab of rock so perfectly was the reason, okay.
I mean, it makes less sense though. If like the doctor had just been mistreating them and they just had enough, that would have actually made more sense.
I like that idea more. They'd be like, fuck it, like we're just going to revolt. So they're quite agile. They like leap in through all the windows in their loincloths and they like overturn the scientist and attack him and eat him, and then they burn the fucking village down.
And then it just ends.
Yeah, pretty decent ending, really.
Yeah, it's all right.
Not bad.
It's, very similar to the ending as Zombie Flesh Eaters. Just, which makes sense.
Yeah.
I mean, overall, before we do our unalived people and all that kind of good stuff, so this is an interesting one. I would say this is a film you'd only watch if you were a gorehound.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't really kind of work as like a quote-unquote film that you watch because you want to kind of, want to watch something kind of that's fun.
Mm.
Like, there are fun bits in it, but a lot of it's quite slow. It's not paced very well. It's lit kind of quite flatly.
Yeah.
I just found it just doesn't look very interesting. That's why, like, her room in her apartment, that kind of stood out. I was like, fuck, they actually took the time to kind of, like, work that out.
Yeah.
For that look cool. But yeah, if you like kind of people getting their guts ripped out and people's heads getting smashed in with like a propeller.
That was the best bit.
And people's eyes getting ripped out. Yeah, watch it. You'll have a grand old time, but just don't expect to enjoy a good film.
Yeah, I mean, it was fairly entertaining. I didn't hate it. It made me laugh in places. There's quite a lot of exposition, so.
Yeah, just a lot of like stuff just going on for no reason really. Were the deaths easier to count in this film?
Oh, much easier. I mean, there wasn't 160.
No.
Definitely not.
Imagine if there was.
So I've counted 13 deaths. Now, bear in mind, this film starts with a lot of dead people because we're in a morgue. So the people are already dead, so I'm not counting those. And if we count the maggoty head that's in bed as a dead person, which I'm not sure where that came from, it's not explained, that makes 13. If we don't count maggoty head in the bed, that's 12. So yeah, it's quite high on the death count. I'm not going to detail them all, but it's a mixture of like the savages, villagers, like the guide, and sort of the zombie, quote unquote zombies, like the shuffling, demonic zombies, especially the motorboated one.
Yeah, and Susan. I was kind of a bit annoyed when she died because, as I say, she was the only character I liked.
Yeah, it was sad.
And the doctor as well.
Yeah.
Our mad doctor. Our Dr. Butcher MD.
He's the last one to die at the end. He would be number 13. So, yeah.
Cool. Even though I did not enjoy this film that much, as I said, look, it's not without its merits. If you do, in fact, want to watch it yourself, then you've got a few different options. Not quite as many as Nightmare City. Again, apparently it's on Prime Video. So if you have a Prime Video subscription, it'll probably be on there. If you are in America, you can pay for it, $1.99 to view it on Amazon Video. Apparently it's available for free on Plex and Foursome. Whatever Foursome is, I've never heard of that one. Again, if you're in Canada, it's available on Crunchyroll. And if you want to buy it yourself on Blu-ray or 4K, it's available in America from Severin and in the UK from 88 Films. And again, those are all region free, so it doesn't really matter where you are in the world. They have versions available now if you want to own it yourself.